the strangest feeling. Don't know what to believe in. Cause every time you touch me, I can't control my body. Oh, baby, you are on my mind. All I think about, and I don't wanna stop.
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another conversation with Trent and Friends, featuring the lovely Coach Dee. We got a good one tonight. Actually, we're finishing off part 2 of our two-part series on giving up. Last week, we had questions for the ladies. Are you giving up on men? This week, to finish it off, men, are you giving up on women? Let's bring Coach Dee in. Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Oh, you know how it is. It's going.
Oh,
I took Xavier and 6 of his friends to Dave and Buster's for lunch, and
brave little lady.
Never again. My God, it's like I would have had a better time herding feral cats. You know,
Wow.
if I had a couple of working border collies, I probably been all right. But
right,
they were everywhere at once. I'm like,
that was brave. That was brave of you. I'm sure they had a grand time. Good stuff.
They had an absolute blast. But I am definitely
That's
a mother of one. That is my limit. I'm good there.
That's it.
So all you parents who have multiple children, God bless you. There is a place in heaven if it exists for you. So
I totally get it.
Yeah.
So tonight we're talking about, are you giving up on women? Are men giving up on women? I'm gonna say no. Personally, I'm gonna say no. But there is a survey out. Well, actually, a research from back in February where 63% of men under 30 describe themselves as single, and yes, they've given up on women, while 34% of that same age bracket feels the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my own theory on why these young boys are giving up on women, but that's for another podcast.
You said it right there. So
Let's go podcast.
Let's say hello to the folks. We have the beautiful Miss Catherine and our buddy Miss Martinez there. Both saying
what's
hello.
going on, Kathy? Hey, my favorite Detroit. I see you.
Yeah.
So we got Detroit, actually Georgia by way of Detroit, which is my favorite Detroit, and Kathy out of Carolina.
1 second. What is wrong?
Good stuff. What's going on with y'all?
Go wash your face. You got candy up your nose? Go wash your face, sir.
Good stuff.
Close my door. It was a story. It was a medical emergency.
Oh, we good.
Like some
good
weird
stuff. So
lollipop you stick in a thing.
Gotcha. Like I said, guys under 30 describe themselves as single, compared to 34% of women in the same age bracket. That survey was taken back in February of 2023. So, yeah, but I wouldn't. I haven't given up on you guys, but there's some work to be done on both sides. I haven't given up on you guys. So,
did the survey say why they'd given up?
It didn't. It was just very vague. It didn't. It did. But you could see that online, how both of those guys go back and forth and I was never in a household with a man that goes back and forth with a woman like that.
Sir, some of these young boys want to lead and they can't pull up their pants. Like,
true.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. You want to lead, you don't have a job, you don't have a house, you don't have a car. Who are you leading?
Right?
So
True.
I get that some have given up, but I think, and I say this all the time, we do our sons a big misservice because we don't raise them properly.
Right.
Right? We we don't give them the responsibilities that they like. The same responsibilities we give girls, we don't give sons, right?
Here's my thing, though, and I'm going to speak for my age group,
Mhm.
but I don't think we have. But honestly, I'm going to give accountability on both sides here because
Yeah.
guys in my age bracket, they lack accountability, they
Mhm.
lack a skill of communication, and on both sides,
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to talk, if we don't know how to talk to one another and speak with one another and express our feelings, we go nowhere.
Yeah. Well, here's the
Like
thing.
I said last week,
Yeah.
it starts with communication.
Yeah. Our generation has a whole lot of generational trauma that people need to work through and aren't. So when you talk millennials are in their 40s now, so they're not that young.
Right.
So when we look at millennials and Gen Z has a lot more emotional intelligence that has been taught. Like they have been taught in
Right.
school about filling your bucket before you fill other buckets. So
Right.
we have young men and young women who have different standards. So for the ones who have emotional intelligence are not just going to settle for anything. And just like Martine said, I read a post where a guy said he's happy with being solo, living the rest of his time in his own house, seeing women only for fun here and there. Yeah, marriage is
I totally get it.
yeah, marriage is traditional. It's not required,
Yeah, I
right?
totally get that.
So
If a woman is not, if a guy tell a woman that if she's not in her right space,
mhm.
she's gonna take offense to that. But I totally get that, and vice
And you know what?
versa.
It's, listen, people need to talk, right? People are so busy putting on this act or this air of this
There it is.
representative instead of
There it
being
is.
themselves that you know what they if they sat down and were their authentic truthful selves and had deep conversations they would know right where they're at the beginning, right?
Exactly.
So I
Let's
get
give
it.
an
I
example
understand
here,
why
right?
men aren't some are saying no.
Let's give an example here, right? I'll give you an example. I'll get a little transparent. I lost interest in a female, and we
Hmm.
were having conversation, and I explained to her why.
Right.
I explained to her why I lost interest. Most guys, the average guy, he'll just fade to black and not say anything.
Hmm.
But I wanted to let her know why I lost interest. X, Y, and Z. This is what took place, and I'm just not there anymore. I was honest with her. We're still friends today.
Yeah.
I was honest with her though. But most guys won't express what turns them off and hey, this is why I'm backing away. They just get quiet and ghost them.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that I want to be handled just like I handle folks. So
Hmm.
if you're gonna ghost me, tell me why you going. Tell me what's up.
Yeah.
So I was honest with her. I told her exactly how I felt. I told her what my likes and my dislikes were, and it just wasn't hitting on all cylinders for me anymore.
Yeah.
We're still cool.
Yeah.
It's called communication.
Definitely. I think the problem with this young the Gen Z millennial generation, there's a lack of social cues that are missed. And I blame their parents,
Right.
right? So there's things that you need to do in order for kids to learn social cues. Like they need to have play dates. They need to
Right.
interact with other kids. They need to do all these different things. But a lot of people focus only on team activities and not individual one-on-one activities.
Absolutely.
Because individual one activities is where they build relationships, right?
Absolutely.
Like one of the kids with Xavier today is his bestie from kindergarten. These two have been connected at the hip since kindergarten,
Right.
right? And that's how you build relationships. You find out if you have arguments, how to manage arguments
Exactly.
when you have friends starting up, going up. But
And
now you
I
have
don't want because I got an email from a viewer.
mm,
I don't want them to think that we're sitting on a high panel of judges here
oh god no.
because the way we speak, this is how
Yeah.
we've talked for decades.
Yeah.
We're not talking down to people. This is how we
Uh-uh.
speak.
Yeah.
And like I told him, I say, hey man, I'm not talking down. I know he's not talking down to him. We just talk real.
Yeah.
But a ton of people do not accept straight talk.
Well, I
Think
always
about if you're
say,
going into a relationship.
yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I always tell people don't strap on shoes that weren't meant for you. I think I told
Exactly.
you that last week.
Pretty much.
But,
So it's about straight talk. But if you walk into the relationship with straight talk, you can leave the relationship with the same thing.
hmm Yeah.
and everybody will be adults about it and go on about their lives. And you
Yeah.
still could be friends at the end of the day.
1 second. We got some comments.
Go ahead.
Definitely. Martine said many women are not certain about what they want, etc., and have given him such a hard time that he's cool with not being in a committed union ever again. He gets bothered when he's not heard from her. My question is, why when he's already let her know what it is? See, this is why I don't like situationships. Because people get into situationships without laying down expectations and then get upset
True.
when the expectations they haven't talked about aren't met.
True.
Right? Like, you know what? If people talk more, there'll be less arguments. There'll be
Exactly.
a whole lot easier things going on.
I found myself in a couple of situationships over the years. That's when I was microwaving through the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm microwaving through the relationship. I found myself in a situation. In the end, I didn't know how to get out of it. And, before I acquired the twos, I had no idea how to get out of that. But I was microwaving through the relationship.
Yeah.
But if we stop, listen, and speak with one another and communicate, it'll be easy.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I get it. And I think a lot of people, especially younger folks, and I say younger folks because I'm 52. So it's a generational difference. That there need to be a lot more social interaction versus just text interaction.
Exactly.
Right? I know people who do not talk on the phone at all, and they only text. I'm like, how can you communicate with somebody if you're only texting?
I hate that. I have a couple of friends who just, all they do is text.
Mm-hmm.
And I just leave them on red.
Yeah.
Hey, I get to it when I get to it. Let's not text. I'm going to communicate.
Yeah.
I would like to, I'm a conversationalist. I love to conversate. Don't text me all that. Let's just have a conversation real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're lacking, man. This connection. Go ahead.
Yeah, Martine says, I'm open. I let guys know when there's no romantic interest on my end. They usually get pissed and cut me off, as in having a mantrum. Oh, Lord. That's a whole... That should be...
That's another podcast.
That should be next week's conversation.
What's that? Read that again. Let me see.
Yeah. The guy who will... yeah, I read the comment above. Where he got upset because he already let her know what it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, the guys who will harass you for the phone number. Hey, I just want to talk to you for a minute. You got a minute? I just want to talk to you for a minute. And like, I'm not interested. And they get upset. Well, you're ugly anyway. I'm like, well, why are you trying to talk to me?
Sometimes just that's childish. That's some boy stuff there. But if you're not interested, you're not interested. On to the next one.
Grown men doing that. Like,
again, childish. You know what I'm saying? Childish. So, but you should always be on to the next one. If she's not interested, she's not interested.
Yeah. So
period. Just leave it alone.
From your conversations with different men, why are they giving up on women?
It's more frustration than anything. Mm-hmm. They're not giving up. They're more frustrated. Like this one brother I speak with all the time. Right. His name's Troy, out of Dallas. And he was saying how they don't hear him. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, why they're not hearing you? Are you coming across too aggressive? Or because most women are turned off by a man that's actually very aggressive, and he stands in his masculinity, and I know him. I've been knowing him for.
Masculine does not equal aggressive.
But him, he is.
Yeah.
But like I told him, I say maybe you want to pipe it down a little bit and invite them into a conversation instead of almost like you're trying to lecture her. A woman's going to automatically be turned off if she feels like she's being lectured to. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, but it's more frustration than anything, but they're definitely not giving up on women.
Yeah. But
you guys are hardheads. Let's keep it a buck. You guys are complete hardheads.
Who? Women?
But, wow, you think not?
I think the women I know and hang out with have standards and boundaries.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the standards. There's nothing wrong with the boundaries. But you guys are kind of hard-headed. Let's be honest.
No, see, there's some anti-woman comment again. That's very misogynistic.
You know I'm not like that. Stop it.
You are like that. I've told you that many, many a time over the last 2 decades that you are like that. So let's not even start acting like you're brand new, please. Don't make me go put some hoop on just so I can take them off.
Don't do that.
So Martine says, she just made a correction. Yeah, she has standards. It is. And I think the problem is right now is that marriage is not really a necessity anymore.
It's not.
Marriage is a very traditional, old fashioned. It was a passage of property. There
Right.
was law, like you know, what I mean, the woman was owned, all this stuff. But now there's when there's a power balance with a couple, it's not as much as a big deal.
Right.
I do tell people that paper does matter a lot though, because that person dies and you're screwed. So
I agree with that. I
you know,
agree with that.
you
But
still
I
have to
think
protect
that
yourself.
I've always said over the years, right? I could actually love you for a lifetime and not marry you. I could be
Yeah,
with you and everything
yeah,
and not marry you.
yeah.
If you want to get a contract, just in case anything happened to me, I kick the bucket. Let's do that. But we don't have to go through this whole ceremony and all that craziness.
Yeah.
I
No, oh
love
yeah,
you. You love me. Let's get it.
yeah. Like I think the absolute world of you. I wouldn't marry if you were the last man on earth.
Wait. Why did you say that?
Because
It
I
was gonna
don't
be
know.
wait. Hold on a second
People like
before
to
you
make
answer.
you laugh.
It was gonna be personal. We'll save that for offline. But why you say
I'm just kidding. I'm in a good mood tonight.
that's
I
all
got some
good?
hate mail. It always enlivens me when I get hate mail.
From the last show?
Oh, of course, from the last show. My spiel at the end. So yeah, send me more hate mail, people. I love it. I'll make a donation in
That
your name every time you send me one.
that is hilarious. That is hilarious. But for my talk and speaking with guys,
Hmm.
they're not giving up on women. They love women. It's just that like what I gathered from it, those conversations with those guys, they're frustrated.
Hmm.
And it sounds like to me there's a lack of communication and being effective communicating your feelings.
Yeah,
You just got to keep it a buck, guys. Sorry.
I
But
think
if
this.
you can
Yeah,
communicate your feelings, should get on the track.
yeah.
Should
There's a
definitely get on track.
lack of communication on both sides because I don't think we've really taught the next generation how to communicate. Gen
I
Alpha,
agree.
the Xavier's generation, they have no problem with communication because they will tell you how it
Exactly.
is
I agree.
without.
But I find that even with, what I'm saying, adults my age,
Hmm.
that when they see a problem, most times, 9 times out of 10, we ignore them
Oh yeah,
without calling it to the carpet right then and there. We'll ignore it because we're still in that new stage.
yeah. I used to do
That's
that.
the
I don't do
best
that.
way to catch it.
Yeah,
That's the best way to catch it in the new stage. Hey, listen, let's talk about this for a second. But everyone runs away from conversations,
hmm,
men and women.
yeah. That's because people try to turn those red flags into pies, and they're not.
One more time for the people in the back who didn't hear it. That was deep.
They try to turn those red flags into pies. Right? It's not all good.
Not
Red
all
flags
good,
at the
not
beginning,
all
you
good
get
at
red
all.
flags at the end. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly.
It may be cute now that he forgets to put his clothes in the laundry, or she forgets to put her clothes in the laundry. But I
We
guarantee 10
so
years down the road, you want to hand strangle them for it.
in today's climate, we're so concerned with, not offending people and not, I don't want to say this, it feels so good. I don't want to say this. That's the best time to say it.
Hmm.
In the new stages, just say it and let it rip. And how she responds, you'll know exactly who she is.
Yeah. I don't think the new climate's not about not offending people. It's about being conscientious of the words that you use.
I could agree
Right?
with that.
Because
I could agree with that.
we have society in the past has not been very conscious of their language, and a lot of people were harmed. So now people are more
Right.
cognizant of it. So
I could agree with that.
yeah,
I could agree with that. But
but I think.
for me personally, I don't mind saying exactly what's on my mind, as you guys know.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna let it rip, and we'll deal with it on the other side of it.
Yeah. Martine says, I hadn't met a man in my mid 20s or my 30s like finding a needle in the sand on a beach on another planet. Where are you guys not finding men at? I'm tripping over them, want to get away from them, and you're like, where are they at? I'm like,
Well,
man,
they're actually Martine's, and she's actually in Georgia now, so it's kind of
there's plenty of men in
slim to none
Georgia.
over there.
It's not all like that. There's plenty of men in Georgia too.
You talking about in Georgia?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna leave that one alone too. So
Yeah, I know y'all think about Hotlanta, but that's not the only place in Georgia.
I know.
I mean,
But
the lovely gentleman from Georgia driving down the road the other day, just playing
is
some
that
music.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
playing some music. Got a cowboy hat, and I'm a sucker for a southern accent.
Uh
And he's
oh.
like, "Sugar, what songs I playing?" And I'm like,
Uh oh.
"Oh." And I saw, and I was like, told him the song, and he drove off. I'm like, "Well, Georgia."
But so, you know, from like I said, with my findings, speaking with guys this week,
Hmm.
they're not, they're not giving up on women. They're
Hmm.
just a little frustrated. And like I spoke with them, and I was like, man, it's communication. Just talk to them. But if you're lecturing to them, they're not going to hear it.
Well,
Again, they're not going to hear it.
if somebody wants to learn a good communication style, read Nonviolent Communication. Um, I can't remember his name. Let me look up his name. But nonviolent communication, it helps you
That's
to
it.
talk to the person, not at the person. And it gives you a communication style where people don't get defensive immediately when you're
Absolutely.
talking to them. Because you use a lot of I words instead of
Just think
you.
about it. Think about it. When we have open dialogue and honest conversation, and if that person is not ready to move that relationship forward and has some issues that's holding that person back, you're going to see it. You're going to see the red flag. It's up to you at that point. Once the red flag presents itself, it's up to you at that point to move away from it quick.
I got
That's not saying that the person's a bad person or anything like that. They just have some issues they need to address for themselves.
and not every person is your person. I've said that many
Exactly.
times. Right? And if you are with somebody who's not your person, then find your person. And
Here's
it's
Martine with another comment.
Nonviolent Communication by Marshall B. Rosenberg.
I've heard of him.
Martine says, yep, guys are frustrated. Lots of them still aren't for me. I'm patient, though. But are you patient in your living room still, ma'am?
Uh-oh.
Because he needs to have order in his life. Because some of
Absolutely.
y'all are in your living room waiting for the dream girl, dream guy, and unless they're breaking in, and that would make them not the dream girl, dream guy, y'all aren't going to find them. You need to get outside and do
Wow, wow.
stuff.
You're not holding no punches tonight, huh?
I told you, don't tell me hate mail. I get invigorated. She said the dude.
Martine's going in again.
The dude from the senior center was whining and begging, though. What dude from the senior? Ma'am, why are you at the senior center?
Martine, you
I'm
have
gonna
no
have to
business
call
being
you.
at that senior citizen home.
I'm gonna have to call you, ma'am.
Senior citizen center. You have no business being there.
Yeah.
You fly. What's going on?
Yeah, like take a class in something that you're interested in, and there's lots of
Here's what's
stuff
so
going
funny.
on.
I gotta tell you the story, right? You speaking of class, right? I go to the gym 3-4 days a week.
Hmm.
So my old buddy, he's around like 81, right? So we having lunch after one of my workouts before yoga, and he said, Trent, he said, you realize I've seen you here through the wheelchair, through the walker, through the cane, and all this. I was like, yeah. He says, now you're walking on your own and you're yoga and you're working out your weights, all that stuff. I was like, yeah. He said, so tell me a little bit about that class across the way. And the class in it, there was a whole bunch of women there.
Mm.
So I say, Mr. John, well, I said, can you hang with those women? He said, I've been single, for about 10, 15 years, and his wife has gone on to glory. So
Mm.
he was like, just interested, man. I want to meet a woman. He said, would you suggest that class? I said, come to yoga. They all in there.
Mm.
So he came to yoga with me, right? The following
Right.
week, he came to yoga. He met a friend.
Mm.
He met a friend in the yoga class. And again, you could go to the gym and meet them anywhere. You don't have to just sit outside and do it. They're all over the place, especially
Everywhere,
at the gym.
everywhere. Yeah, and I I like to compliment people. So if I see a gentleman who looks nice, I said that suit looks great on you, and keep it
Right,
moving, and
right.
they'll be like, what the heck?
So you have no problem taking the lead on the initial contact.
Listen. I am a force to be reckoned with. You are well aware of that, right?
I was going to say it because I didn't want you to,
Yeah. Listen,
yeah,
I'm
you're
from
very
Newfoundland.
straightforward.
Newfoundlanders are known for their charm.
You're
That's what
very
we do.
straightforward.
You know.
You're very straightforward.
So
Martine says,
Martine said I was going there for lunch here and there. He's my age, but unappealing to me.
I would like to know what unappealing looks like to you, Martine. Was he not hip enough? Because you're pretty hip. I think Martine's like 62 or something like that.
Yeah. Tell us what yeah. Tell us what
She's
unappealing. What was unappealing about him? Because
yeah, she's pretty hip.
I think a lot of people don't realize that 50 now is like what 40 was before. Right. So
50, 50, and that for me, even in this condition, 50 for me, 35.
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot younger than it used to be.
Absolutely.
It's not. We don't look like if you look like the old TV shows, like the Golden Girls and everything. They were in
Not
their
at all.
50s. They weren't old at all.
Not at all.
And
Yeah,
I'm like,
not at all.
yeah. She said, not hip at all. I'm 57. Yeah.
Oh, she's 57. Okay, I'm sorry. I put a few more years on you.
Yeah, but I think.
Wait, hold on a second. Is she saying she's not hip?
No,
Martine, come on.
Because we asked about him.
Oh, gotcha.
What's not appealing about him? And he said not hip at all, and she's 47. Yeah, and I think people don't realize that older people are younger now, so it looks a little different when you're dating.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So
my dad used to always tell me it didn't resonate with me until this age.
Yeah.
He said, "Boy, what you talking about? Nothing get old but clothes."
Mm-hmm.
He would always tell me that. It resonated with me now. I'm like, wow, this is what he meant.
And women don't reach a sexual peak until 40, until they're in their 40s. A lot of people don't. All these men dump them for the 20-year-olds. I'm like, sir, you left the diesel engine that go all night for the little.
Yeah, sir, you really want that cougar? Trust me, you do.
The young. Listen,
you don't want that young thing. You got to teach her something. You want that cougar.
Listen,
at least I know I do.
We joke around that finding these little 25, 30-year-olds and have your way and then send them home with leftovers. But not in the good Tupperware.
Stop. That's funny.
She said he's not hip, no flavor whatsoever. Blah. Yeah.
So he's bland. Yeah. But let me ask you something, Martine. Can you spice him up a little bit? Does he have something that you could actually?
No, we're not building men up at their age. We don't build up grown men. You know better.
I'm not talking about building up. I'm not talking about building up.
No.
Say something to him to spark something within him. Say something. You could actually say something to a person and light that fire. You could ignite that fire in that person.
Yeah. Someone's son is truly missing out. Yeah. I've had that happen to me. I went out and date, and I'm just like, and he's like, there's no.
Wait, what did she say? I got to highlight this. What did she say?
She said, someone's son is truly missing out.
I'm more than sure.
She said, no Build-A-Bear. Listen, you know what? And I'm laughing because one of the kids today with Xavier, his grandfather brought him. And his grandfather looks at me. He's an older gentleman from a very traditional background, of a different culture. And he goes, Xavier would be good for my granddaughter. I'm like,
wow.
He's trying to set him up. I'm like, should have asked him for a picture though.
Wow.
You know what? And that still happens out there. That it's
right. You just got to be open to it. And what I find online, and I'm glad that I did the research on this for those not even 30 people who, 30 of age people who going through that stuff, because people our ages, we're not going through that like that. We're really not. Like, I love women. There's nothing better than a woman. Nothing better than a woman. I would never say that. Would never part my lips. I'm giving up on women. That would never. Going to my grave, I want one with me.
At our age, it's the opposite way though, because we're just frustrated with men. So it's a different scenario of the whys and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But here's the thing: these young kids today don't have the same, not about abilities, but resources. Like nowadays, to buy a house, it's ridiculous.
I agree.
And we have millennials who are paying $3,000 in rent every month and can't get a loan for a mortgage that's $2,500. Like, stuff just doesn't make sense. So I understand why they're happy where they're at if they're doing well.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with being settled within yourself. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But make sure that you find the person who's willing to take that ride with you.
Yeah.
And don't mislead the person on and let them go on. Like for me, I'm cool where I'm at.
Yeah.
I live alone, me and Kobe, and we're cool. But it'd be nice to have a woman come over for some Netflix and chill. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Real cool. But you have to know that 3-day limit. come in, hang out. You got to go after 3 days, like a hotel. Check in on Thursday night. You're leaving right out on Monday morning. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm not saying that.
I know you're telling the truth. So you try to be like, whatever, man. I'll be gone before you tell. You have that opportunity.
Pretty
Martine
much.
says, on any level, he needs to be already cool and fly. And then she says, I will get out more, I swear. I heard that before.
Oh, Martine.
I enjoy being in the presence of the brethren and checking them out. Lots of guys say they're tired of getting clowned and rejected. Listen, you want to get a guy to have a conversation with you and you're out at a restaurant, send him an appetizer.
Here's the thing, Martine. Some of those guys now, I lived in Detroit, and was not in Detroit, but right outside of Detroit in West Bloomfield. But I've lived there. I spent a ton of time in Georgia. Come a little further. Come down. Come on down. Those guys in the South, they say those guys in Georgia from the South. I don't know. These guys with the rejection. Let me tell you something about a real Southern man. That real Southern man will wear you down until you have a conversation with him in a gentlemanly way.
We don't want to be worn down. That's the problem.
In a gentlemanly way. I wore you down. What are you talking about?
That's not how it works, sir. You just thought you did. You were played, sir. You thought you knew what was going on.
Yeah, I know. I know you had your fishing line out. I know.
But here's the thing, and I do love me a Southern country boy, so because their mamas taught them how to treat a lady.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing: communication, no matter where you are, what background, where you're from, anything like that, is what matters. And I think a lot of people talk at people and not to them.
Right.
And even I had to learn how to have conversations to people, not at them.
Right.
Because it's not a skill we're all taught. Especially our generation, we were told to shut up and keep our mouths shut by our parents. So they didn't teach us communication at all.
Martine says she don't like the wear down thing. When I say wear down, I'm not talking about like that. I'm talking about like chivalry type stuff. I'm not talking about the whole badgering thing. I'm talking about chivalry. I'm talking about conversation, through conversation, getting to know you, getting inside of you. I'm talking not getting inside of you physically, getting inside you spiritually.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Where's my buddy Slack? I know you know. Is he busy today? I'm waiting for him and some nonsense to come up. What happened?
He texted me earlier, so he may be coming through.
Oh, okay. I missed my little devil's advocate. But here's the thing. No matter who you are, you have to know who you are before you get really into a relationship. Because that will make all the difference in the world. Right?
There it is.
Because once you're firm in what are your non-negotiables, what your boundaries are, what your standards are, what your preferences are, what you're looking for, then that makes it easier because you can easily say no to what is not for you.
Absolutely. That's what I call everything on the table. At that point, you placed all that stuff on the table. It's up to you to say yeah or nay.
Yeah. And stop asking.
It's simple. That's some adulting. That's some adulting.
What you bring to the table.
Highest level.
Yeah. Stop. Everybody get that question out of your mouth. What you bring to the table, because it's nonsense.
Pretty much.
It annoys me so much. One second.
Good stuff. So what's your thoughts on this whole? Oh, there she come back again. One sec.
Talking with one another. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's what we're lacking today. Not just above 30 or under 30 and between 30. That's across the board. Yeah. People are lacking the skills of communication. Mm-hmm. That's what I found when I was speaking with my buddies. Yeah. They're lacking the skills of communication. They're talking at people.
Yeah. And be able to communicate on a multitude of subjects.
Exactly.
You know, like read a book. Be able to talk about a book you read or a movie you watched. Be able to discuss something other than what your favorite positions are.
Absolutely. Let's catch. We'll come back to you, Martine. Let's catch Kathy real quick.
Catherine says, "I believe you must prepare yourself for that relationship. I don't like saying the right relationship, but it's true. Yeah. Yeah. Not every relationship is a relationship that's going to last.
Communication.
And she says communication is the key. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Communicate. Martine says constantly trying to get a woman to give him a chance. That's what I mean by worn down. Oh yeah,
Oh, I
and I'm
got you.
okay with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking about the shivery type guy.
Mm.
Because a guy who's in tune with himself, he's gonna know when you're into him, even when you're not saying it.
Hmm.
He's gonna know exactly that you're into him. That's what I mean by wearing down. He knows that you're into him.
Yeah. Says many. Martine says many people have a hard time forming words. Yeah.
That's true.
Hmm.
Absolutely true. So how would you say we get past that, D?
Get past the communication.
Yeah, communication. How do they get
You
past that?
really you can't get past it. You have to work on it. There's no you can't skip over it. It's not something that that you can figure out later. You have to figure it out before you do anything because communication is the first step.
Right.
If you can't
Slash
get
said something last week that I didn't agree, and I rarely disagree with him, but on that I disagreed on him. Disagreed with him when he said that it's something about verbal, and a non-verbal
oh
should
he
be
said 99%
understood.
of communication is nonverbal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
it's
for
not.
me personally, I love to express myself. Me personally, like I said, I'm a conversationalist. I love to express myself. I don't want to leave nothing left unsaid. I'm going to say
Right.
exactly everything I need to say. And this is how you get past something, or this is how you get into something.
Hmm. Yeah.
Don't ever leave it unsaid.
Hmm.
I'm going to say it. If it's on there, I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah. Like if you have trouble communicating with somebody and you want to communicate with them, start mirroring them. So if you start mirroring their body language, they'll start feeling more in tune with them, and the conversation flows easier.
Exactly.
It's a very primal subconscious thing, right?
Exactly. Martine,
Martine
one more
says,
time.
write down and he'll catch that subtle hint from the woman who's letting him know he should approach her. The man who's in tune.
Absolutely.
Listen,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, y'all gotta stop with the subtle hints. Like that is the most nonsense ever. Like
Now you
everybody,
saying women or men? You saying women or men?
both, both, because the subtle hints gets nothing done except your feelings hurt, right? The whole look at him, look away, make eye contact again.
Right.
Please send him a drink. Like
Just like that.
yeah, just because here's the thing: people want to play coy, but coy doesn't really work. It
Right.
worked previously because that was how culture worked in the
Right.
1800s and 1900s.
That's a
That's
great
not
point.
how culture works now.
That's a
Society
great point,
changes,
D.
so when society changes, you have to change the way you do.
That's
Right?
a great point.
Like I dated a guy in Toronto once because I sent him some wings we were at a sports bar, and I got the waitress over. I'm like, "What kind of wings is he eating?" And she told me, "I'm like, get another order and put it on my bill." And she's like,
Mm.
"I'm like, all the girls are like, what do you mean? What's going on?" I'm like,
A
"Watch."
woman who know exactly what she
I
want.
said, "Watch," and I did. Sure enough, he looked over, nodded, had his wings, and came over. And we
Isn't
dated
that
like
something?
4 months. But you know what? It's subtlety is lovely, but we're no longer at the cotillion. We're not debutantes in ball gowns. We're grown ass people.
I'm glad you brought that up, right? Some women are still in that stage of, like Slash would say, Princess Di. They're in that whole stage that, oh, he's going to climb up to the castle and get me. It's not
No,
like that anymore.
no.
It's not
Yeah,
like that.
it's those were a different time, you know, when society was very prudish, where a
Right.
woman couldn't tell a man that she liked his suit, right?
Right.
And you can tell somebody, oh, I like your suit. That tie looks nice on you. I like that color on you, right? Just an easy compliment, and you can keep it moving. You don't have to have a conversation with them, but you know what? You may have made that person's day. So
She has a
and
question for you. Martina
uh,
has a question for you.
mirroring them how? Um, Mirroring body language. So if somebody leans, then you would lean forward and lean in the same direction. If they put their hand to their face, you would do the same thing. They cross
Right.
their legs, you would cross their legs. You know? You would be their mirror image, right?
And they'll be more comfortable when you actually mirroring them.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be
Yeah,
more inclined to speak up and
yeah.
be honest with you as you're mirroring them.
because
Yep,
you are more like them,
absolutely.
right? So it's a little
Making them more
human,
comfortable,
yeah,
Martine.
it's a little human psychology. That's how you get jobs too. You're in a job
Absolutely.
interview. You instead of walking in there nervous, you walk in there confident, and you mirror the people that are interviewing you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right here on the conversation where you can actually get to know how to do everything.
Martine says, "Ha, okay, I'll send them a drink or some food." Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I know y'all saw the Cheesecake Factory fiasco, right? There's a
Yeah, we
whole
spoke on that
body title. Yeah,
last week.
yeah.
The
Well,
the
there's
foolery.
another
foolery.
yeah, there's another video that came out about them too. But here's the thing: it's if they had communicated prior to, then he would have known that that was not her thing.
Wow, Martine, you've never heard about the mirror thing? You've never?
Oh, girl,
Wow.
see, this is
I am
send me
so
a
proud
text
of
and
bringing
we'll
this
talk. We'll
platform
talk.
back. I'm
Yeah,
so proud of bringing this I can't believe you've never heard of the mirror. That's how you
yeah.
make a
So
person more comfortable.
yeah, there's all
I'm more
kinds of
inclined to be I'm more
yeah.
inclined to be more honest with you if you're mirroring me.
It's how salesmen work. It's how sales
Exactly.
work.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a NLP, neuro linguistic programming. It how you tap into people's primal subconscious with
Absolutely.
different things, and it makes people feel more comfortable with you. This is how like
Absolutely.
when how people use their voice in different genres. So if you're
Right.
in the wellness group, they'll talk in a lower voice. It's more soothing, more calming. If you're in a sales group, it's louder.
People used to ask me, right? People used
Hmm.
to ask me when I was speaking all over the country and going abroad speaking, they said, man, how do you connect with all these different people? It's straight eye contact.
Hmm.
If I locate that one person in the audience who I can speak with, I'm only making myself comfortable with the entire room through that one person.
Right.
If I make eye contact with that one person, I got the entire room.
Hmm.
That was
Yep.
my whole mindset.
Yep. And always, when you come on stage, make sure you make eye contact as you walk in and smile at people, and they'll smile back. And you know,
Absolutely, absolutely,
so yeah,
absolutely.
it's not as difficult as everybody thinks it is.
It's not.
Like
It's really
I,
not.
for some of us, we're natural at it, right? I did my Clifton strength test and my Bray Myers. I'm a natural communicator. That's what I do. I build relationships. That's who I
Exactly.
am at my core. So for me, it's
And it's
really
so
easy.
easy, man. When you walk into a venue or walk into a room, at least for me, when I would have those nerves going through. But yeah, I have formal training with singing and all that stuff and
Mhm.
concerts and all that. But when you walk into a venue, you locate the one person that you're comfortable with. You could own the entire room.
Oh yeah.
You
You
could
see,
own the entire room.
yeah, I was trained to own a room. The army teaches you to own a room, so I come in with a different energy. But
Exactly. I
when I
got
make that eye contact with people while I'm talking and telling stories, then people are like, "Oh, she really sees me. She hears me." And then I'll see them start nodding and agreeing to different things I'm saying. So if I see
you. Right.
somebody nodding in my peripheral, I'll look at
Right.
them and nod along with them because I'm
Right.
mirroring
Martine says,
mirroring their behavior. See, so I smile and nod and speak all the time. Yep. But are you smiling and nodding when they're smiling and nodding?
it's a
That's
good
what makes a
question.
difference. Yeah, it's
Good
it,
question.
you know what mirroring is. We should do a show on NLP.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
with it.
yeah,
I'm
because
with it. Because
it's
honestly, I truly believe after this conversation with my buddies this past week, a lot of those guys could benefit from that.
hmm
Because it's just a ton of miscommunication,
yeah,
misunderstanding. After talking to them, I'm like, man, you're frustrated and you just lack the ability to communicate.
yeah,
That's all.
yeah. So let's
That's
let's
something
do
simple,
a
man.
show on how to communicate. We can
That's a
help
good
some
one.
folks out
That's
because
a good one.
not every like I was born talking, so you know I haven't shut up since the day I was born. Pretty much, my mother says
Right.
I learned how to say words, and that was it.
Exactly.
So, but
I give an example. I give an example. After my mother and my brother passed, it was a tumultuous time for me and my brother
mhm,
and I. And he lacked communication skills across the board. He didn't know how to address his hurt, his pain, and all this stuff. So I walked him into a brand new relationship with me. He had no idea I was walking him into it.
Mhm.
But I was effective in communicating with him, expressing my feelings. By me expressing my feelings and me mirroring his pain, because we shared the same pain.
Yeah.
We just lost our mother and our brother 2 months and 10 days apart. So I was able to, with those tools that I acquired over the years, I was able to mirror his pain. He could relate to me at this point.
Yeah.
And it's the relationship is great now.
Yeah.
But a ton of people, they truly lack those skills.
Yeah. I did
And it's real simple. It's real simple. Go
It
ahead.
is simple, but sometimes humans have one huge fault, is that we can't get out of our own ways. Because we think we are the most brilliant creatures on the planet,
Yeah,
that our egos get in our ways of ourselves. And sometimes people don't realize
exactly.
that we need to not get rid of our ego, but not allow our ego to control us.
Exactly.
And the world
Truly,
changes.
life is simple, but we as humans make it extremely hard.
Oh yeah, very difficult.
Right?
Right? And we miss so much of the little joys of life because we're so caught up in ego sometimes.
Absolutely.
And it's
Martina has something there.
what's it? Many people are uncertain as how to behave, react to other humans. They're so desensitized. Yeah. And then
That's
she asked,
true.
"So have men given up on us?"
Not at all. Not this age. Not this age and not this guy.
Yeah. And she says, "I'm still working on a few things, and I'm not in a place where I need to be dating or involved." Okay, that's fair. Yeah. When you know that you're not ready, then that's the best time to be not ready.
Right.
Because that
And
awareness.
Martina, to actually elaborate more on your question, the guys I spoke with this past week, they're not giving up on you guys. They're just a little frustrated. And what I gathered is communication skills. They're not communicating how they feel and the things that they want and how you making them feel. They're not communicating effectively. It's real simple. So
So
that's what I gathered. I don't think they're giving up at all.
maybe that should be next week. It won't be so messy, but it'd be important.
I'm with
How
it.
to communicate? How to communicate? I don't know.
No, it's very important. It
Yeah.
can be messy at the same time, though.
Oh yeah, because we can talk about bad communication. Lots of men think if they're smarter, more intelligent than any woman, a whole lot of them. Uh, yeah. There's some of them that need to set their ego aside a little bit because they're not as bright as I think they are.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And honestly, with guys, and I'll let a secret out to you girls, which I know you know, D. I'll let a secret out. But guys, if you truly allow her to lead in some places, even when she don't even think she's leading, just allow it to take place. Just set your ego to the side. You can benefit from that. You can benefit from that greatly. You can benefit from. You don't have to be the big dick in the room all the time. You don't. When you allow her to lead in some places, your life is so much better. And it's not you selling out. It's not you selling out to your man or anything like that. And not, just pick your points. Pick your areas where you want to move in.
A penis
She'll
does
be a
not,
better woman. She'll be a better woman in the end. I guarantee you.
sir. A penis does not make a leader. That means
I said that because I knew you were going to say it.
Yeah. I spent 18 years in the army. I've met lots of
But you
men.
you get my point, though, right?
I get your point, yeah, but it's very heteronormative, so whatever. So you're very 1980s. I'm very 2023. We're both well aware of it. She said, lots of guys are afraid of being looked as a simp. They're just as scared as us women are. You know what? If we got away from this whole patriarchal, I'm a man, like life would be so much simpler if there wasn't always a power struggle.
Yeah, but
It doesn't need to be a power struggle.
But a manly man won't have to tell you that he's a man. She's going to know he's a man.
What's a manly man? Is he cutting?
A man who the man who could actually chew bubblegum and walk at the same time.
In the jungle, the lioness is just as strong as the lion, and the lions know it.
You just proved my point to what I just said to you, and you were teasing me.
What? No, not man. I don't think lions are manly men.
Here's the thing. Like I said, if you allow a woman to be a woman, you just have to choose your areas to where you want to point her in, whichever direction you want to point her, but you do it in a very subtle way. You don't have to be out front saying, "Hey, I'm the man," beating on you. You don't have to do all that. Like, I know she's gonna disagree with that, but it is what it is. D, come on.
It
There
is
are
not.
some guys that
No,
actually
it's
lead
not.
from behind.
Listen, it's 2023. Just because you have a penis
Did
does
you
not
hear
make you a
me?
leader. I heard you. But the whole you direct her where to lead without her knowing, whatever, man.
There are
Whatever.
some. The greatest men lead from behind. Wouldn't you agree?
The greatest people lead from
Can't you
behind.
just humor me
No,
one time?
no, because I completely disagree. Remember, I was a woman in the combat arms. I led.
In my opinion, the greatest
No,
men lead from behind.
whatever. And behind every great man is a greater woman.
Absolutely. That's why the conversation is so popular, because of this great woman I'm sitting in front of,
Or listen,
which I lead from behind.
yeah. Without me, you can't even have the show. You have nobody to talk to but yourself. Martine says, I keep hearing people say simp and it drives me nuts. You know what? There's a lot of people out there who say a lot of things that they have no.
So, hey, what is that?
What it
Because
is.
I've never heard that. What does that mean? Tell me what that
Simp?
means. Educate me.
They use simp. They use beta. They're not a man. They can be pushed around. You know. If they
And
knew
guys are
anything-
using it?
what? It's
Guys
a
are using it?
generational use. Yeah, Xavier's generation used it. I gave him heck for it the other day for using it. Gave him a lecture about it because it's not true. People have this thing about this alpha male, this beta male, but there is no alpha beta in human society. There's not in wolf society either. That was debunked. It was actually chickens.
Exactly. Martine says 2 heads are always better than one. I agree. Totally
2 heads
agree.
that are working together are better than one.
Sure.
But if they're not working together, then you can have somebody who looks like they're working with you, but they're actually sabotaging you every chance they get.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So if the goal is that you should both be able to shine.
Totally agree. Totally. Where did the time go, man? Look, do you see the time? Where did the time go?
That's because I'm just charming as always. Which reminds me, if you want to send me hate mail.
What happened? Kat, you didn't get a chance to tell me.
Oh, so after my comments at the last show, I said that I will always speak up for oppressed people, right?
Right.
Always will, always have, not going to change.
Absolutely.
And people didn't like that. I have people call me an anti-Semite. I'm like, no, I love my Jewish brothers and sisters. I do not like what the alt-right government is doing. They use white phosphorus on civilians. Yeah. I'm an artillery. I know what it looks like. Don't tell me that I don't see what I'm seeing. So
exactly.
So people send me hate mail. I'm like, you know what? I talked to a rabbi.
I mean, come on, man. It's plain as day what's going on over there. It's plain as day what's going on over there. Let's keep it a buck and let's be honest about it.
It's an ethnic cleansing. Is what it is.
That's all it is. And the people that are on that land was placed there in 1948, 47, 48.
The other people are already there. They're already there. And when you watch the news, make sure you're watching news other than North American sources because they're very biased.
Exactly.
Because
we're gonna save that for a recording show because I don't want them to.
Okay. Yeah. So communicate. Always communicate. Always communicate. There's nothing. If there's 3 words that you ever leave from this, watching any of our podcasts is communicate, communicate, communicate. Right?
Absolutely.
That's the big 3. Without that, you have nothing. With that, you can have amazing things.
So my teachable moment for tonight, after speaking to these brothers last week, brothers, we have to be effective in our communication. We have to be straightforward with it and choose your words right. Choose your words better than what you've been doing and not be so aggressive. Because if you're aggressive with her, she's not going to hear you. She's not going to hear you. But if we communicate effectively, it'll take us further. That's what I found in my research speaking to these guys this past week.
Yeah. And my lesson is show up as your unapologetically authentic self. Because if you show up who you are, you will find out right away if they're not for you. And if they're not for you, then keep on going. But
keep it moving.
There's no need to have a representative. There's no need to play act. Just be yourself. And 9 times out of 10, if somebody doesn't like who you are, then you shouldn't be around them anyway.
It's called adulting.
Yeah.
So Martine gets the last comment. Let's see where she's at with it.
She says, world news, I enjoy communicating. Yeah. Conversations will get you everywhere. This is what the world is lacking. This honest, authentic communication.
Absolutely. So we appreciate you guys. We're coming up on the 8 o'clock hour on the Central Time and 9 o'clock on the East. Mm-hmm. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Coach Dee and I really appreciate all the support, all the hate mail, all that stuff, because we're going to bring it to the forefront, man. If it needs to be talked about, we're going to have some gumbo talk about it. Whether it be Palestine, whether it be the Jews, whether it be relationships, whether it be politics, relationships, religion, anything. We're going to talk about it. This is what we're about. This is what we've been about for decades.
And we don't always agree.
What did you say?
I said we don't always agree. So that's all. Yeah.
We don't always agree. No, we don't. But at the end of the day, we still could have a civil conversation and go into the next week. So that's good stuff.
Yeah,
so next week, we'll be talking about communication, how to communicate effectively on Sunday. We'll make it a little messy for you guys. So until next week, Coach Dee, you want to close out?
No, I just want to thank everybody for listening and watching. And I know we have viewers all over the world. So I hope you all have a good morning, because I know it's morning there. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the night for those who are still in the PM hours. And just take care. Give your loved ones a hug. And from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
You guys be epic.
Right.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.